Alright, so I'm going to try to explain my take on metaphysics. Why the big picture. Why I'm so stubborn on it. It's basically like this. Let's say you have a belief E, and you want to prove it. Right? You want to prove/demonstrate it, even though you believe it already. Or maybe you want to believe it, but you'd like to see it proved first. Then that proof can be put, or rather characterized as A implies B, where A is something that will prove your belief. Now there's a huge distinction available at this point, because okay, you're now at the point of having to know if A is true. So how do you find out if A is true? And it's important to know this distinction. It depends on whether it's a synthetic or an analytic truth. Right? Okay, so synthetic truths, that term might confuse some people. I don't think anybody, or too many people familiar with philosophy wouldn't know this is, a technical term. It's funny that it means fake to so many people, synthetic. But it means made. It has to be kind of made. It can't be proved, you have to check. Like, my shoes are in the closet. You have to check. They're not necessarily in the closet because of the nature of shoes. A man is a bachelor, tautologies, or some other kind of analytic truth. That cannot be checked. So it has to be proven, which means you need gamma implies A, implies B, and then you need theta implies gamma, implies A. It's an infinite regress. And metaphysics is the idea of eventually you get to a stopping point. Why? Well, eventually you get to things that have to be true, or else how would you know that A is true? The other option being, you don't know that A is true. You never will. Now, I don't even believe there are analytic truths. I believe they're all synthetic. And what we call analytic truths and metaphysics, they're all just abstractions from the physical world as the human body experiences it, that we have forgotten the physical basis for. Our forgetfulness is a key component to believing in these worlds of form, all of them, or any of them. Now, if A is a synthetic truth, you just have to check. And the beauty of that is you can actually just check B too if you can figure out a way. So in the world of synthetic truths, the way we use analytic logic is we take some situation B that we can't measure, it's too confusing. And we use analytics to find other material situations, synthetic truths, that if true would imply the latter thing, We find a simpler situation A that we could set up as an experiment, for example, that proves B. And sometimes it appears that we prove some analytic truth, a law of cause and effect or conservation of energy. Really, we have reduced it as a data product out, and it's still a physical truth. Law of conservation of energy, physical truth, not a metaphysics. You don't assume it going in, and then it becomes true in physics. We believe it because we found it. Right? So I'm going to have nothing to do with this a priori analytic world forms, any of that stuff. Yes, a big broad brush for all of that side of things. Now there's subject matter that those guys like to take claim on, spirituality and whatnot, that school, that I'm not giving up. Even, metaphysics studies, philosophy of some weird name for it, but philosophy of the soul. Absolutely. I want to still study that. For sure, I want to study that in cognitive science and psychology, for example. Will? Yeah, I think it's totally pointless. We're wasting our time studying it from a metaphysical point of view. So I want to start from synthetic truths now. That's just a desire, but I think I have my desire. Why? Because that we have perceptions is not an analytic truth. It's a synthetic truth. and you can build everything from that. So you can start with A being synthetic.